Yeah.
Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, bringing you some of the best college football news, predictions, and analysis. We are now just a little over 7 months away from the start of a brand new college football season. And I can promise you it is never too early to start looking ahead. But today we actually want to look back just a little bit. We want to look back at the course of this 2019 college football season. Primarily how we did here at the Gridiron Expert. As many of you know, we do predictions all season long. We kick off our preseason predictions for every single team in June. That carries us all the way to the kickoff of the year. And then we do predictions over the course of the entire season as well, every single week. It's one of our favorite things to do here at the Gridiron Expert. And I know it's you, the viewer, one of your favorite things to watch. It creates a lot of great discussion and debate and analysis, not just from me, but to you guys as well. So predictions is one of the major things that thrives and kind of promotes this channel. And so we're going to take a look at how we did both in the bowl games and in the regular season here in just a second. Before we do that, I do want to address one thing is that, all season long, we talked about this being the 150th season of college football. And that's a major milestone. That is a huge accomplishment for the sport. One that I think is unmatched by any other sport out there. I don't think any sport can match college football, especially when it comes to the tradition, to the pageantry, to the history, to the excitement, and to the unity that we see across the nation every single week in the fall. It's nothing like it. Nothing to me that can bring people across the country together more than watching their program, their school, their alma mater, their parents' alma mater, whatever it may be, their state, every single Saturday during the fall. College football, an unbelievable sport, and it was capped off with an unbelievable game on Monday night. We talked so much about this 150th season, and we said we wanted to see something different. People felt like college football was getting too monotonous, too predictable. That every year it was going to be Alabama and Clemson, and maybe every now and then you'd see a team like Oklahoma or Ohio State really challenge one of those top dogs for that national championship. But we finally got something different this year. The 150th season, thank the football gods, was different for so many different reasons. And the first one was because of what happened on Monday night. For the first time since 2014, we had a national champion not named Alabama or Clemson. Think about that just for a little bit. For the first time since 2014, the first year of the college football playoff, we had a national champion not named Alabama or Clemson, as LSU went into New Orleans and defeated Clemson 42-25. The Tigers clinching their first national championship since 2007. So right there, you saw a brand new team win the national championship. One that hadn't won in over a decade. One that has always been a perennial power, both nationally and in the SEC, but finally broke through and defeated a team that had won 29 straight games and was the reigning national champion. To me, that is different. That's exciting. Something new to cap off this 150th year of college football. But additionally, outside of those elite powerhouses, we saw our handful of surprise teams, and there are always a few. Every year there's a team that not many people are paying attention to that by the end of the year is in position to make the college football playoff or maybe win their conference or participate in New Year's Six bowl game. We saw those surprise teams this year, like Baylor, a team that just a few years ago was 1-11 but finished the regular season this year at 11-1. Or Utah, a team who under Kyle Whittingham has consistently been a threat in the Pac-12, but coming into this year, many thought this was the year the Utes could finally break through, and they did just that. Just one game away from being in the college football playoff, falling to Oregon in that Pac-12 championship game. The same can be said for the Baylor Bears, just one play away, really, from defeating Oklahoma in the Big 12 title and making the college football playoff. We saw a handful of teams make their resurgence, a handful of teams that had a great bounce-back year. Usually teams that are perennial powers, but every now and then they have a bad year. This year, to me, those teams were like Oregon and Wisconsin. Teams that were kind of mediocre in 2018 but bounced back in a big way this year. Both those teams meeting up in the Rose Bowl, an instant classic out in California with the Ducks taking home the Rose Bowl trophy with a 28-27 victory over the Badgers. And then, of course, you saw your fair share of disappointments. Just like surprise teams, just like bounce-back teams, there are always a few every single year, and you just pray that it's not your team that disappoints. And this year, some of those teams were like Texas and Nebraska. A Texas team that had so much hype and expectations coming into 2019 after their huge win over Georgia in the Sugar Bowl last year. Nebraska returning so much talent from last year's team that seemed to be getting hot at the right time, seemed to be getting competitive at the right time, even though they didn't even make a bowl game. And for the second straight year, they failed to make a bowl game under Scott Frost. Both those teams, major disappointments, hoping to really reach those sky-high expectations in 2020, just a year later after many expected them to do so. So college football, guys, it's full of twists and turns, and we know that if you've watched the game for a year, if you've watched it for 40 years, you know that football is unpredictable. You know that football is unpredictable, and it's one of the greatest, if not the greatest sport out there. And that's why we're going to take a look at our predictions here, guys. Take a look at how we did with our predictions over the course of the year. It's unpredictable. People love predictions. They get happy about predictions. They get frustrated about predictions. But in the grand scheme of things, no one knows what's going to happen because we've coined the term, or people have coined the term, any given Saturday. Anything can happen on any Saturday and any day in the world of college football. But right here, we've got our handy-dandy whiteboard. I'm sure many of you have missed it. We haven't used it in like well over a month. But you take a look at our bowl record here. We predicted every single bowl game. The first time we have done that here at the Gridiron Expert in terms of creating a video for every postseason game. In the past, we've put up about 5 on the board. We've predicted all of them, but haven't really gotten to go deep into detail. We were able to do that this year. And we went 29-12 in our bowl games. That's 70.7%. Round that up at 71. And that does include the national championship game where we did predict LSU to defeat Clemson, and that does include the FCS national championship game as well. An absolute thriller between James Madison and North Dakota State, where we picked the Bison in a mini upset. The Bison defeating James Madison 28-20, clinching their 8th national title in the past 9 years. Right below that, you can see our overall record for predictions in 2019. This only includes the regular season. We did not include conference championship or bowl games because we don't predict those in the preseason. We can't predict conference championship games or bowl games because we don't know who's going to be playing in them. But this record right here indicates the record that we had predicting games way back in the summer. Way back in June and July and August, well before we even saw these teams hit the field, we went 390-120. That's 76.5%. And as many of you know, if you've watched us for a while, you know that our goal here at the Gridiron Expert is always to hit 76% or better. We've never dipped below that. We've never dipped below 76%. And this year was one of our best years yet. You round it up, it's 77%. Sounds not that big to some people, just 1%. But to us, that's a huge deal and a very successful year considering all the circumstances and the timing of these predictions. So 390-120. Our bowl game record against the spread, 25-15, 62.5%. One of the best marks out there. We had a very, very slow start, really picked it up right around Christmas Eve, carrying us all the way to the national championship game. So 25-15, round that up, that's 63%, or against the spread record on the year, 107-84-1, right at 56%. Now, we do appreciate everybody that signed up for our expert picks and was able to receive these picks against the spread. For those $100 bettors, you bet $100 on every game we gave you, you come out ahead over $2,000. This record to some may not look great, but it's still better than the guys over at CBS Sports, Scott Van Pelt on ESPN, and Chris Felica, the bear of ESPN and College Game Day. We defeated him this year. And not like it's a competition, not like he even knows who we are, but just some statistics to put out there just as we cap off this 2019 season. And for those of you looking to resubscribe or join us, join and sign up for our expert picks that give you a year-long subscription to our Against the Spread picks in college football. So a very successful first year for that, and we can guarantee it's going to be even better in 2020. And right down here, you'll see that we have a couple team names up there. These are just a handful, not even coming close to the total, but just a handful of teams that we actually predicted their record correct back in the summer, back in the preseason. We've got Ole Miss, Tennessee, Rutgers, Duke, Notre Dame, and Oregon. We predicted their records exactly correct back in the preseason. Maybe not exactly game by game, getting the exact wins and losses correct, but at the end of the day, they finished there. And we finished 2019 getting 60 teams correct or within one game. We consider that an accurate prediction. If you get them right on the nose or you're off by just one game, either in the win column or the loss column, that's an accurate prediction to us. And we got 60 of those in 2019. So 60 out of 130, not a bad day here at the Gridiron Expert. So it's been a phenomenal year, guys. It's been an absolutely great year of college football. A year full of twists and turns. Maybe not as hectic, maybe not as unpredictable, maybe not as crazy as that wild 2007 season over a decade ago. But this season, guys, was certainly one to remember. The 150th season of college football. One to celebrate, one to enjoy, and one to remember. And now it is time for 2020 to kick off a brand new college football season and a brand new decade with a bang. Let's see if they can step it up and upend this historic year of college football. So guys, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to like this video and check out everything we have for you in the description below. We've got exclusive college football content and offers you do not want to miss. Just because the season's over does not mean the content's going to stop, does not mean the discussion's going to stop here at the Gridiron Expert. So I promise you don't want to miss anything down in the description, especially something to get you ready for next season, just a little over 7 months away. So thank you so much for that. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Please continue to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you next time on the Gridiron Expert.